Itchiness.
Ah, there we go. I can hear you
Is
now.
that
I think
better?
it was me. First time I've used this Zoom thing.
That's right. No worries. So let me put this back. Right. Can you hear me?
I
Okay.
can hear you. Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. Lovely to see you.
And you, how are you?
Yeah, really, really good. Thank you. Really good. I kind of been working on the, the delivery of a particular message, right, which seems
Mhm.
to stop people's thoughts and also put just a stillness in their body. And there's nothing they have to do. They just kind of have to sit there and relax and listen to the words. And
Okay, yeah.
I saw Josh today, and he reminded me to drop you a message because when I saw him, so that's kind of how we've ended up here.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and so there's not really anything for you. There's nothing for you to do. It's just if you feel open to experience something quite bizarre, which is no thoughts, then
Yeah.
and then also what happens is you have a private link to this recording, so you can use it for meditation purposes or relaxation going forward as well. So it's kind
All
of
right, yeah.
because it just stops everything upstairs for most people.
Okay, yeah.
Mm. But
Okay.
that's it really.
Yeah.
So it's in that direction. It's kind of on the meditation front, but but I'll ask you some what seem like really weirdly structured questions.
Yeah.
But they're not
Okay.
hard. They're just questions that your brain wouldn't have had before, which is why it can't do anything. Which is why it goes
Yeah.
quiet, you know. But you can still
Okay,
remember
yeah.
what you had for breakfast, and still remember your name, all that's still there. It's just it kind of changes your
Yeah.
relationship with the thoughts that you already have.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. Shall we?
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there a way you can kind of get your phone leaning so that you can not have to sit up doing
What,
it and hold?
sorry?
Are you able to kind of put your screen, are you holding your phone? Could you
I
kind
am,
of,
yeah.
yeah, try it. Is there something you can lean it on so that you, as if you was going to kind of do a meditation, you didn't want to hold your
Just go and
phone
grab
during?
something.
Yes, all
One
right, mate.
minute.
Take your time.
Oh. Right, there you go.
Wicked. All right. Now, what I kind of work with, Laura, is energy, but not in a weird sense. Yeah, not in like a voodoo sense, but just in an experiential sense. And what I mean by that is there's an energy here all the time that is so still and calming that when we can kind of drop into it,
Yeah.
it does that to the silences the mind and chills the body out without you doing anything. Um, but in order for kind of this message to do its thing, we have to kind of sit nice and still and we have to try and not talk. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's like if I said to you, like you're not trying hard to see and hear, are you? Seeing and hearing is happening whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
And so gently close your eyes and just breathe into your lower abdomen. Just relax. So breathe into behind your tummy, behind your belly button, and breathe out. Just do a couple of times in your own time with no pause at the top and no pause at the bottom. Nice and relaxed. Just don't force it. And just stay there with your eyes gently closed. It's nice and relaxed. Keep that breath going, and in a minute, it will kind of just do it on its own. You won't have to kind of make sure it goes into the tummy. What we tend to do, we tend to breathe shallow into kind of our chest area. But breathing into the lower abdomen is can be a bit more relaxing for some. So I want you to imagine yourself as everything else on the earth is exactly like this, except for you're the only person here. And in this openness, in this spaciousness that you just felt in your body, where you're the only person on the planet, but all the animals are here, everything's the same, just you. First one. So with you as the first person on the planet, does language exist yet? Feel free to answer
No.
that. Okay, cool. Brilliant. And if language doesn't exist, that means all words were made up by human, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
So we don't actually know what anything is. We made it all up.
Yep.
We learned it was a tree. We learned it was a dog. But
Yep.
DOG, does that actually say what that thing is?
Well, now it
I
does.
know what you've learned. I know what you've learned.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
without words, without language, because there isn't any yet where you are,
Mm. Mm.
what you're looking at when you visualize that dog without language. Don't have to answer if it's blank.
Mm.
I want you to watch your mind trying and struggling. Yeah. But you don't need to do anything and just know that this won't make any sense. Okay. So just let it all hit you. Nothing for you to do. So in this spaciousness without language, we know that our thoughts aren't real because they're not here. They're just thoughts. So therefore, our thoughts generally are the past and the future. We think about the past and the future. So thoughts aren't real and the past and the future isn't real. So I want to bring you into this immediacy right here in this instant. Just stay there. The only thing that's happening is this instant, isn't it? That's
Mm.
actually happening. Yeah. Stay in this.
Yep.
Okay. So without a past and without a future, what do you believe?
I don't know what you mean. What do I believe?
So if you can't go to the past, to the things you've learned, because
Mm.
it's just thoughts, it's just stuff you remember, isn't it? The past, it's not actually still
Mm.
here. And the future isn't here either. That's just stuff you're thinking about in the future. Yeah. So without going
Mm.
into those two spaces of everything you've learned and whatever you can think of in the future, without going into the past or future, what do you believe? Now, don't speak, just stay there and watch the brain. What do you believe if you can't go to the past and you can't go to the future? Just feel the silence, feel the stillness, and that's okay. Was you able to find any beliefs? Or did it blank?
Just, just blank.
Mm. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Anything missing?
No.
Any problems?
No.
Any thoughts?
No.
Good. Now stay in that space and go and look between thoughts and no thoughts in this directness, in this instant, not in the past or the future. Take those two words, thoughts and no thoughts, and see if there's anything in between them that's real. And in this stillness, in this silence, this direct instant where there's no problems, there's nothing missing. Is anything happening? Is anything coming? Is anything going? Is anything right? Is anything wrong? Is anything good? Is anything bad? Or is it just blank?
Just just blank.
Yeah, cool. Just stay there. You can't do anything with the blankness. The mind doesn't know unknowing, and that's what we're doing here. We're we're unlearning the reactions that you've kind of have been programmed into you, into all of us, all the automatic programming for our lives and our experiences and education and upbringing and stuff. And sometimes when we experience not very nice things in our life, we can kind of get a bit trapped energetically, and it can create a busy mind and tension and, or contracted energy feeling in the body. But in this openness, in this directness, the outside of the thoughts, outside of words and language, just in this stillness and this silence, where there is never, ever anything happening outside of the thoughts. Everything we do and everything we share is simply words and actions, and all the words were made up. And for some people, they know this, and that's why some things don't make sense. So for people, and I will say it because I know you well enough, Laura, for people like us, this message just tends to bring us an inner stillness without words. It's like clarity without words, and you don't need to do anything with it. You can't. You just connect to that stillness and silence, and you start to feel that energy, and it's just so beautiful and loving when you don't try and grab it. Just listen and feel and watch it behind your eyes. In this directness and this immediacy, it simply is just about the truth. And the body is always here. It's never, the body's never in the past or the future. Body is always here in this directness, in this instant, the only thing that there is. And when your mind is in the past and the future, we've coming up with all these fears, with all these ideas, with all these things you have to do. When you actually look behind the words and see how empty they are, and then you connect with the inner stillness and silence that's always there, you realize that you're just a bundle of beliefs, a bundle of thoughts, a bundle of words, and then you live it out your whole life, unknowingly, unconsciously. And then we kind of wake up to this, that there's nothing actually happening. It was just thoughts. There's never, ever, ever anything actually happening outside of my thoughts or the drama that I create because of my thoughts. So we can start to relax a little bit and take this less seriously because it's all made up. It's all a game. It's all designed to mask the freedom that it already is. So what I mean by that is in this openness, in this directness, in this instant, can you find me a next? The word next, find me a next that's real and not just a thought.
Um, I don't. There is no next other than
That's
thought.
right. That's right. But what do we do our whole lives?
Worry and think about the next
About the what? Yeah.
thing.
And it doesn't even exist, Laura. It's a
Mm,
concept. The concept.
mm,
And like language is a concept. It's just a construct that we can use. It's beautiful because we can communicate and we can learn and
mm,
um, hear each other using words. So there is good in words, but unfortunately, words create over time. Words and words and words create lots of beliefs.
mm,
And those over time, those beliefs become your identity, and then you have to uphold and maintain all the things you believe in, and that's the little bundle of Laura that everybody looks at.
mm,
But the bundle of Laura that I'm looking at is just a female body
mm,
without a label, and it's not even a body because we made that word up as well, and it's not even female because we made that up. So without language, what are you?
I don't know.
Mm.
What?
It's just it's all a mystery, Laura,
Mm, oh, it is, yeah.
and that's all right, isn't it?
Mm,
Yeah, just stay here in this direction, then, and it's hilarious actually because everybody's chasing next.
mm,
Everybody's working so hard for the next, and a bigger next, and more next, and it's just all thoughts. And every next we have is like the prison rooms getting smaller because it's more maintenance. Because all people want is to feel something, feel better than this. But guess what there is in this instinct, in this instant, in this directness? Guess what there is that is all there is that's real? It's this. It's this
mm,
isness, this right here. Nothing else is real. There's no time. You're the first person on the planet and you've got a watch on. Really? But
mm,
without language, without time. What's distance where you're the first person on the language, first person on the planet?
mm,
It's all made up. It's all just nothing is real. The only thing we know is we don't know anything because we made it all up,
mm,
which is why some of us sometimes feel a bit confused when there's not really anything confusing happening. It's just because the body's here in this directness and and the thoughts are going in the past and the future are going, hang on, yeah, let's do this. And the body's going, there's nothing happening. And so that's why, like you hit the wall, you want to do something and you can't, that kind of, ugh, there's nothing to do, really, unless you're in danger or you're starving hungry.
mm,
That's the human experience. I have to use words. I have to be able to communicate, right? I'll call I'll call us humans for argument's sake. But we have to eat, we have to reproduce, and we have to stay safe. And it doesn't matter what stories of my life we put around those three things. It's only those three things and that body, which isn't a body and it isn't a Laura. And not only is it isn't a Laura, because it was all thoughts, there isn't a life either. Life is just thoughts. It's just it's because it's still isness. It's still this. This hasn't changed, has it?
no,
No. This never changes, Laura, ever. And so when we can over time learn to integrate this message, we realize that, if I'm being blunt, there's no real meaning. We're not in control of anything. Everybody's trying to control everything. And in this stillness, in this
Mm,
directness, Laura, in this isness, in this moment, is there anything to control ever? Can we?
no,
We can't control
no.
anything. But everybody thinks they're in their bodies, pressing buttons, pulling levers. They're the center of the universe. And because they feel like that, they assume everyone else feels the same. When if I said to you, find me the physical line that separates that body from this body,
What do you mean that body in this body?
like your body and my body. So I'm sitting here at home, you're sitting there at home, presumably.
Mm,
What makes us separate? If it's just energy, isn't it? All we're
mm,
feeling is energy, because even when we have sensations, it's just energy because no one's touching us.
mm,
Even when we have thoughts, nothing's happening. It's just energy coming out of nowhere. And it's not happening to us or for us. It's just happening because there's no us. We made us up. We made me up. We made I up. We made you up. We made Laura up. We made dog and tree up. There's never anything ever in. And it's so beautiful. But people over this is so this immediacy, Laura, it's so nuanced that nobody sees it.
mm,
This stillness and silence. This is called awakening or enlightenment. This is shining a light on everything that has already been here all the time. And there's never anything changing, is there? Outside of
mm,
thoughts, outside of thoughts or the drama, the things that we use our energy to change. Other than that, there's nothing changing ever.